Going to get started. Just going to talk about what market structure is. What is market structure? So let's try to keep it as simple as possible. Just come up here, find a spot. When you come to the chart, whatever time frame you're looking at, you need to find out which way market's going to go. And the market moves three different ways. Moves up, moves down, and then sometimes it'll just go sideways. Now, if you're like, man, that is not clean. Well, neither is market structure. All the things that you see online talking about higher highs and higher lows and perfect retests and things of that nature, that's all fine and dandy in the books or as a concept. But once you actually get into the market, you realize that sometimes the market can be sloppy, very, very, very sloppy. And so when you have these and you're stuck on those, you will end up getting frustrated because you can't relate this to how the market's actually moving. So instead, just keep it simple. Keep it very simple. So I'm going to start with the daily time frame here. I'm going to reset the chart and I'm just going to look. I'm going to look and I just basically start with over here on the left, where did price actually start? Price started here and ended up here. We're moving up. We didn't start roughly where it started at in the beginning, and we're definitely not moving down. So this would be an uptrend. So I'm trying to look for buys. Why? Because if this is going to continue, the likelihood of a move up is going to be in my favor when I decide or when I find a trade that I can actually get into. So keep it simple. Next one, same thing. What are we doing? Price started up here and is down here. It's moving down. So, I mean, if you just started where price is at on the screen to where it ended, that's what it looks like. Is it the same beautiful up and down trend that you have going? No, it's not. Could you try to make it? You could, and there's different ways to do that. But the best way to do is keep it simple and then let your eyes tell you what you see when you see it over and over and over again. So don't try to overcomplicate it too much. Keep it simple. Start there. Now you're looking for sells. How do you get into sells? That's a completely different topic. Right now we're just talking about market structure. How do we get there? Price started here, price started there. This one is definitely not. I would not say this is an uptrend. Just because of the way if we look at JPY and the way this started down here to up there, that looks more like an uptrend in comparison to this. Okay, so now we've just learned, just our own intuition, our own immediate experience has taught us that, yes, even though we can draw the line from one area to another and try to keep it as simple as possible, looking at it with your eyes and asking yourself if that makes sense will help us determine that that doesn't actually make sense. So there's the start there. Like, that does not work. It's not an uptrend. I would consider this more of a range, if anything else, or getting ready to start a range. We've had all this movement down here, and then we have this high up here. And so we could get a bounce off of that. And then we could start, it would be very much in a range. So try to keep it simple. Don't really overcomplicate it. You have price started here, ended up there. That's a downtrend. It's an even cleaner downtrend. You actually look at what price has actually done. But I mean, that gives you some bias of some little bit of understanding that it's just a downtrend. Let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. And then if it doesn't make sense, leave it alone. So OddCAD or was it EuroCAD? It was EuroCAD. EuroCAD in this whole uptrend scenario doesn't make sense. It's ranging. And so it doesn't, what you've drawn doesn't line up with what you see. So leave it alone. Leave it alone and continue going. Same thing here. We have price started down here, ended up here. According to that, should be an uptrend. Well, it's not from what we look at. So just continue going through. This is a beautiful uptrend. This is an uptrend. Cool. Continue going through, marking up your chart, seeing what trend it's actually in, and then move on to something else in regards to how can I take advantage? How can I get into a trade based upon what I see now? If it's in an uptrend, then I'm looking for buys. If it's in a downtrend, then I'm looking for sells. There are other ways to manage and trade that, but just start off basic. The whole idea is to keep things simple enough that you can come back and do it over and over and over again. That way, when you look at what you've done, you can start honing in on how to manage things better so that you can get more profitable, and how to cut out, well, how to manage things better would be in your profit as well as your loss. So that way you can figure out what isn't working, how quickly you can cut out of losers that look like they're not going to work, versus, and then let the ones that look like they're going to run. Case in point, NZD USD took this trade based upon the 4-hour time frame, had a small little downtrend. I'm looking directly here, coming from top to bottom, had a little downtrend here, had this nice wick rejection here. I'm like, this might be the lower high that's getting ready to go ahead and create the next lower low. Got into the trade, price started channeling up, got out. It's not working. None of this right here is telling me that this is the next lower low or the next lower high. So I don't feel comfortable with it. I'm no longer going to be in it. So I got out of it. Odd JPY. Very similar concept. We have an uptrend going on here. We have these lows that are getting created all along this whole entire process. This is a previous resistance that was broken, now support, and it's looked like it was turning around. And so it's like, this could be the next higher low to create the higher high. Okay, so I got into the trade, started working out and going in my favor. So I'm going to leave it and let it run. Those are the things that, looking over your trades, finding out what is working and how you can optimize, how you can get that to work for your benefit. That's something that you have to do. But the only way to do that is to be consistent in coming to the charts and placing those trades day in and day out. So just a quick, if you need to know what the market looks like, market moves in 3 different ways: up, down, sideways. And you can keep it simple and just leave it at that. Let your eyes tell you what you're looking at. And if it doesn't make sense, leave it alone. There's plenty of pairs to choose from. So that is that in regards to just how market moves.